we are very much on pace right now, and you can't convince me otherwise. I want to show a clip right from the beginning of this video, 16 seconds. This was a clip taken from the end of January. Check it out. If something like this were to play out and we're dipping, we're at 733 billion, but there's going to be continuation in the bull market for a really nice bull market. Continuation, a super cycle. Can you be here for it? Can you survive that? Do you have the patience for it? That's the question right now, because this thing has played out almost identical to that scenario, which is nothing new for crypto. But the question is, can you be here for it? Can you survive it? And that's where we are right now. I want to definitely dig into the ADA charts. I want to look at price action. I want to talk about all of these things. But there's a bunch of Cardano stuff that I really want to discuss. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. If you're not in our intelligence system, check out the sale that we have going on. Still 40%. Get our risk models. Get our exit planner where you can use our risk models to be alerted. Hey, here's a good time to sell based on all of this data that these models are pulling in. So check out the sale if you are interested. Let's start. I want to start with just broader things, and this plays into Cardano as well, but it really plays into the opportunity that I think is before us right now. I saw this post a little bit earlier. Altcoin ETFs are coming, and the stage is being set for a proper alt season. Multiple altcoins now have active spot ETF filings, and some of them have a 95% approval chance this year. Litecoin, Solana, XRP have 95% odds of approval. Doge, ADA, DOT, AVAX have 90% odds of approval in 2025. Even SUI and TRX are in the pipeline. Most approvals could start rolling out between Q3 and Q4 2025. Every ETF brings institutional inflows, new investor access, legitimacy from regulators. This is exactly what triggered the Bitcoin rally after the BTC ETF's approval. I don't know if you remember this, but this was like weeks ago. This was June 8th. Check this quick clip out in regards to the ETFs as they were kind of the approval odds starting to fall. And I just want to say this right now. These, I think, are going to bounce. We are going to see, maybe even in the short term, a bounce here in terms of ETF approval odds. And this is partly because of what I'm about to show you. So that was just weeks ago. ADA was at 41% approval odds. And check it out. We are at 70% approval odds. And just recently, we were spiking yesterday to 78% approval odds. So on the macro, these moves, I mean, this is obviously short term all over the place. These moves are actually very important on the macro in terms of the bigger picture. The thesis, when you go to an ADA chart, right? I know a lot of people are very frustrated with altcoins right now. Something like ADA, they're frustrated with this. But for me, I have a macro thesis for this crypto space, for Cardano and the growth of ADA value. And we're going to talk about these other Cardano things that are going on that are incredibly bullish for Cardano. But when it comes to these little things, they play such a big part on the macro. Quick summary of past week, and then we're going to get into some Cardano news. Senate passes stablecoin bill, just to give you a reminder of where we are right now. Sitting president says digital assets are the future. JPM and DTCC meet with SEC Crypto Task Force on tokenization. BBG gives 95% approval odds this year for spot Sol, Solana, XRP, and LTC ETFs. And you still think crypto was a scam, or I would say, and you still think that we're bearish on crypto and crypto's like just going to zero. Something like Cardano is just going to zero. I don't believe it. You look at a Cardano chart, everybody, you know I was bullish back here. And this was before Cardano had its entire system built and before all of these headlines that I just looked over. And right now, we're in this higher low environment. We're making higher lows and higher highs out of the bear market. We have all of this macro setup. Not to mention Fed balance sheet. I'm gonna talk about that in the ADA analysis of this video. But let's dig deeper into ADA, right? So here's a couple of things. I want to start with Andrew over at Bitcoin OS. He's the senior content manager at Bitcoin OS. Just one piece of this post that he said. Cardano Treasury debate. You know, there's this Treasury debate going on right now. What to do with Cardano Treasury. And Bitcoin and stablecoins are very big topics. Here's my perspective as a Bitcoiner who has a majority Bitcoin, wants to put it into DeFi. Do you know how many Bitcoin people there are that they're just straight up, they have Bitcoin and they would just really enjoy earning yields on that Bitcoin, putting it into some type of DeFi. Cardano community should absolutely deploy treasury funds toward intelligent efforts to bring both BTC and stablecoin liquidity to the Cardano chain. So let's discuss how this could potentially play out. I saw this post, Angry Crypto Show reposted this video. Check this clip out in regards to the stable coins and Bitcoin and all that.
So my proposal is, why don't we take about $100 million worth of ADA, convert it, put half into stable coins in a blended package that are Cardano native stable coins, and then the half into Bitcoin. You put those two things together, it'll start generating yield. Take the yield, buy ADA with it, donate the ADA back to the treasury. And then you've begun having a mechanism to move between an unmanaged single asset on-chain.
This kind of ecosystem growth that could potentially happen because Bitcoin now being paired up with Cardano ecosystem and Cardano allowing Bitcoin to earn yield, Bitcoiners to earn yield in a secure environment. Make no mistake, there's going to be other DeFi platforms on other chains that are kind of marketing for Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin yields. But make no mistake, what sets Cardano apart is genuinely that security factor that you will not find anywhere else. And when it comes to Bitcoiners, that is incredibly important. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into what this looks like with this other clip in the same interview. Check this out.
We want Bitcoin DeFi in the Cardano ecosystem. So this is a sign of good faith to the Bitcoin ecosystem. We're saying Bitcoin's a valuable asset. It's an asset we probably should hold. And we'd like to show how Bitcoiners can make money in Cardano. So we're so prepared to do that we're willing to take our ADA and risk that to showcase how Bitcoin can do that. And then a lot of Bitcoiners will see that and say, wow, there's already $50 million worth of Bitcoin placed in Cardano and it's generating yield. I should do that too. And then 50 turns to 500, and then 500 turns to 5 billion. And then suddenly our TVL numbers are as large or larger than Solana.
You see headlines, you will definitely see headlines, and you have probably already. This proposal to use ADA to buy Bitcoin and to start using that Bitcoin to earn yield, to buy back ADA, it's a phenomenal idea, right? But you will start seeing headlines. Look at Cardano. The Cardano people are realizing Bitcoin's more valuable than ADA. They're buying Bitcoin with their ADA. This is not the point. And I think I want to make a point. We should be, as we approach this and potentially do this, be very careful with the optics here, because the idea is phenomenal. And I think will attract incredible amount of liquidity and interest from the Bitcoin community. But we should really be careful of the optics and just make sure we're proposing this and just laying out the full case. And this short clip obviously just did that, right? The mechanism that is happening right now is using ADA, putting the money where the mouth is to buy the Bitcoin, to earn the yield, to show that return, to buy back ADA. That mechanism within this ecosystem is phenomenal. And it's such a good use case to really display Cardano and what it is built for, because we are here now. I talked about on the charts, last cycle when I'm bullish, you're bullish on Cardano, and we had some nice returns. None of what we're talking about right now was like happening at all, right? This is happening right now. And that's at the confluence of institutions and ETF approvals that are just going higher and higher, right? Bloomberg setting Cardano ETF approval, what was it? Just 90% we just looked at? So keep in mind how big this is for the Cardano ecosystem. This is such a big talking point, and I think it's going to get legs. And there are many use cases, and there are many other things going on with Cardano, very many other narratives with Cardano. Think about something like Midnight. But this is a very big one. And this displays Cardano and what it's built for very well. So when it comes to Cardano charts, right? And this is not just a Cardano thing. As we start doing analysis, this is a crypto thing. All cryptos are down, everybody. It's not like Cardano is uniquely failing and falling and consolidating into its higher low. All altcoins are down. And while I understand the short-term frustration that is there, it really is nothing out of the ordinary. And this is why back in January, I was posting this clip. So this was the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We were anticipating, just look at all that drawdown. We would have liked at the moment for it to be over then and just start cruising to the upside. But no, look, the fractal actually like played out. If we go look at the total crypto market cap chart, it really just played out. Even the April capitulation, it played out. It's normal, right? And here's the thing that is so interesting to me. It's not like this is anything new. We just had this back in August 2024. I should go back and look and what was sentiment? What were people thinking back then? What were people thinking back in June 2023? It's like we get into these areas, or even back here, January 2023, we get into these areas and we're in one right now. This is the total crypto market cap chart, but let's go over look at ADA. The one thing in relation to ADA that I'm very curious of, we can start getting into the technicals here, talk about price, is this structure. And I think it's still intact. I mean, really at the end of the day, I think if we can put in a higher low, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it all just capitulates. But the structure that we've been tracking, very similar to the structure coming out of the entire last cycle, it's kind of like the inverse head and shoulders look, right? I think this is still intact, just the general story of it, the general structure of it. And we're going to continue tracking this higher low. But what I wanted to make a note of is this. If we go look at ADA on the weekly, there's a move that we can track that has not happened very often at all. That is the 20-week moving average crossing below the 50-week moving average, right? So 20-week moving average, boom. And we have 20-week moving average, boom. So just to give you a sense, the 20-week moving average crossing below the 50-week moving average at that moment, 56 days or so before that bottom was put in. And then this one, 20-week moving average falling below the 50-week moving average, 84 days. This is just something to keep an eye on. If this 20-week starts falling, we have a sense of maybe how long before the bottom really is truly in. And it doesn't mean we go crazy lower, right? But because you can see here, this happened, the 20-week moving average crossing the 50, and that was actually the bottom at that moment. It's just, it was sideways and it was a lot of testing and all that stuff for months, 84 days. Now there's one other time the 20-week crossed below the 50 and it's there. And it's like, ooh, what if that's the case here? Like, what if that's happening? And I want to mention something to you. I want to give you a very strong reason why I do not think this is even at all remotely close to where we are right now. And it is very simply this. Do you see this chart? This is us ending a bull market and going into quantitative tightening and the Fed balance sheet going into contraction. That's the bear market, right? So if we go and we look at ADA on that weekly chart, that 20-week moving average right around January 2022, we go over here to the Fed balance sheet, right? And we can go to January 2022 right here. Check it out. This was the end of expansion. This was the beginning of a new cycle, and we were entering it. And this is what it's been like for years. So we're at the flip side here. You think about like charts, when we think about something like, man, when things get overbought, you want to be, and I can even use the Fed balance sheet as an example. Things get overbought, you want to be cautious. You want to take profits. Things get oversold, you want to spot the opportunity because it's there. This is what's happening right now. Okay. And this is at the confluence of all of these major things that we're talking about: Bitcoin, DeFi, institutional interests, ETFs for Cardano. That's what's happening on this chart. That's why I don't enjoy it when we're getting these dips. We're in one now. We could go lower. I don't know what it's going to look like. I do know one thing though. I've been anticipating it multiple times on this channel with all of y'all. And the reason I've been anticipating it is not because I'm just some amazing analyst that can predict these things. It's just because when you look at the data and you dive into the data, this is just what happens. This is simply how crypto moves. And it's not just ADA. You can look at other altcoins and you can see the same trend, the same repetitions, the same consistencies. So for me, I'm going to continue sitting here, tracking all of these charts, tracking the data. There's a lot of manipulation involved here on these charts as well. We just have to deal with it. We have to kind of survive it. And that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to kind of do this update for you. I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I know I say it all the time. It's ridiculous. but we really are just getting started. There's so much opportunity. I really am grateful to be here, and let's continue tracking the price action. If you enjoyed the video, also hit the like button. And if you're not in our intelligence system, get back there. Check out our exit planners. We have a bunch of altcoins. We have Bitcoin back there. We have a bunch of risk models, and start planning. If you're a macro investor, I think it could be valuable for you. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.